So if you can do this exercise, you already possess all the movements you need for your most optimal swing. So let me explain why this exercise is essentially what we're looking for in your golf swing. A good way to see your golf swing is almost like the flying chairs at the fun fair, where the chains go up as the carousel rotates, the chains get swung out as the chairs go higher. And just in this analogy, if you imagine my arms with the chains to the chairs, they're not going to move themselves. But as I start to twist, you'll notice how my arms start to come out and swing. And you can see pretty much from what I'm doing where the movement's coming from to create the energy for my arms to move. It's coming from the pelvis and the hips. So I'm using the rotational discs here today just to really isolate my hips really and build some awareness around how essentially the pelvis is the engine of the golf swing, and this is where we're transferring the force from the ground through to the upper body from the pelvis. So this is a great exercise really to allow the arms to switch off and just react to the forces from the body, because most people when they first try this exercise, especially in lessons I see, they can't do it. They're so used to moving their arms physically, they can't really actually let the arms react to the forces from the body because generally they've not been there. So this exercise is essentially everything you need to allow yourselves to sense proper sequencing, real sequencing from the ground up. What we're actually starting to attune ourselves to is how we can use this rotational force from the hips and the pelvis and transfer this through to the torso, to the arms, and we can start to really appreciate where's the energy coming from to let my arms swing. Because if I didn't have this rotation from my pelvis and from the ground, I would have to do all the work and physically move my arms. And this is what you see often with people in the golf swings that are so used to moving the golf club with their arms and placing it into positions, or not really letting the golf club react to what the forces that the body's got to give. So this is where, if you've got some discs, this is fantastic for you to get really attuned to, developing your awareness around how we can actually let the arms just freewheel here, both ways. And what you'll notice as well, in order for this to happen, the body's got to stop as well. These discs do not carry on. They initially go, stop, and then all that momentum is getting transferred through the sequence, through rotation. So the discs stop and the arms carry on. And what's happening is the body's applying a braking force to allow that force to transfer through, just like the flying chairs, to the arms. You can go onto the ground now and start to let the arms just become heavy, almost like those chains, that chain analogy from the flying chairs. You're just going to start to push and twist. And can you let the arms just react to the forces coming from the body through the sequence? Essentially waiting for the arms to slap, then they come back. So we're changing direction from the ground and letting the arms react to this sequence, just like in the golf swing. So after you've done that a few times, this is where you get the club in your hands and start to make some swings just on the ground, sensing that movement, that rotation, and how it transfers momentum through the sequence back and forth. The golf club starts to just essentially just create its own geometry now because it's got the forces in place to do so. Much like throwing a ball, we don't really have to put our arm anywhere, it's just reacting to the forces coming from the body, from the ground. So this is a fantastic little exercise to be doing, just to really attune you to that sequence. So once you spend a few minutes actually starting to really appreciate where is the sequence coming from, to allow my arms to react to, where's the force coming from. What you might find if you do struggle with this exercise, which many do, it's because they're used to holding a lot of tension in their arms, and we kind of normalise tension. And this really does highlight, are you actually tense in your swing? Can you let the arms actually switch off, just like the chains would, and actually can we let them react to the forces from the body? We're giving the body a sense of actually being able to decelerate, to let another segment accelerate. So we're creating separation within this sequence now. That's essentially the ultimate goal, where we've got to have some separation in these segments, in these body parts, to be able to sequence it. So this is a fantastic awareness exercise for how we do this with the body and let the arms react. And then you step off and you can go straight to the ground and feel like you can use the ground now to push from, because now we've got some traction and resistance to push, to move. We isolated the hips first, now we can integrate them into a part of the chain with the feet as well, from the footwork, and we can start to push and twist and let the arms get thrown by the body, both ways. And then you're in a great place, you kind of prime the system really to now pick the golf club up and make a few swings just back and forth. Just sensing how we can let the golf club react to these forces coming from the body, and essentially we start to attune ourselves to a free swinging weight where we're not trying to put this golf club into positions, because that's just tension. We're letting the golf club just react to the momentum from the body, and we've transferred that through sequencing, and now you're in a great place just to hit a few shots and really use the exercise to develop some mindful awareness. So when you are doing these exercises, actually be aware of what you're sensing, what parts of your body are moving more than you would normally feel, what parts are doing less, so you start to really become attuned to your own body, because that's the whole point of these exercises. We've got to make sure that our attention is in the right place to develop some awareness, because if not, we might miss it. So we're doing all this hard work and we never really get to see the fruits of our labour because we just missed that chance to have our attention where it needed to be to develop some awareness, so the body can start to recognise actually what's going on here. So when you do start to play and hit some shots, so essentially your proprioceptive awareness has been heightened to what your body is doing, and now you're in a great place to go hit some shots and start to recognise how you can use that sequence to let the golf club just react to it and start to let this thing just swing. It will start to create its own natural geometry. We don't need to make the geometry of the swing for us. We can let it just react to the forces, and the swing weight creates the geometry through us. So once you've had it go on there, you can step forward and just play a few shots. Just really letting the club react to the forces coming from the body through the ground, and start to actually play a few shots, just really enjoying that feeling that you had from the exercise. And this is going to really elevate your practice now, because there's a purpose behind what you're doing. You've got your intention in the right place, so you're going to have this transfer of learning through your game, and it actually makes practice more fun because there's an intention behind what you're doing. So give that a try. Drop any comments or feedbacks about what you've experienced trying this exercise and how it's helped your game, and let me know how you're getting on.